Now, I've always considered myself something of an optimist. In fact, one of my favorite movie characters of all time is the little black kid named JP in the movie Angels in the Outfield. You remember him?
It could happen. Yeah, it could happen.
But I believe it's safe to say, unfortunately, that the city of Oakland is absolutely done. Recently, Oakland held a recall election where they replaced this lady, June Tao. No, I'm just joking. Her name is Shang Tao, but I took June Tao from the movie Rush Hour.
What June Tao at?
If you know, you know. Shang Tao was recalled and replaced after turning Oakland into an Asian crime land or mob land.
I'm not going down like that. We're not going down like that.
We're learning more about a wild shootout that may be connected to the federal corruption case involving former Oakland Mayor Shang Tao and others.
Yes, we are hearing from the man targeted in that shooting and a neighbor who saw it all happen.
And it stopped there and it shot like 2 times.
Sheila Campos lives across the street. She tells me she was headed to work after 9 p.m. when she saw a car drive by 3 times, firing at Juarez's house and Suburban. On the last pass, Mario Juarez came outside with his .40 caliber Glock.
And he started shooting back, like firing back, pop, 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 pop. And the car just kind of skeeted off, but kind of fast. And he was in the middle of the street shooting, like trying to get him.
Neighbors confirmed to me that the day after the gunfire, the FBI canvassed the neighborhood looking for witnesses and surveillance video. And just 10 days later, agents raided the homes of then Mayor Shang Tao, her partner Andre Jones, and David and Andy DeWong, owners of California Waste Solutions. They're all charged with conspiracy, bribery, mail-in wire fraud, and more. Federal prosecutors also claim Tao agreed to purchase modular units for the homeless from Evolutionary Homes, a company run by the DeWongs and Mario Juarez.
Basically, allegedly engaging in all sorts of corrupt activities, including but not limited to giving city contracts to her fellow Asian business partners or families who her family was in cahoots with, and basically laundering money and receiving kickbacks from these Asian-run companies once they were awarded city contracts, obviously gifted to them by the mayor. So she was replaced. She oversaw one of the most violent eras in the history of the city of Oakland. Crime skyrocketed. You saw the very first in the history ever closure of an In-N-Out hamburger take place in Oakland, California. Not because they couldn't make money in Oakland, but because they said it was just not safe for their customers to continue to buy there, to do business there. People getting robbed in parking lots. You had construction workers who refused to actually go around and fix potholes in the city because they said it was just too dangerous to be out in the street doing their job. I'm talking about Shang Tao turned that city into an absolute cesspool. It was already a cesspool, but she only helped to perpetuate, its fall from former greatness. But here's the problem with these Oakland people. They replaced a horrible, super liberal, defund the police Democrat with an even more woke, even more defund the police minded black woman by the name of Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is a woman who her entire identity revolves around protecting criminals by defunding the police.
About the pain and the suffering and what, once again, the Black community is going through as a result of the dehumanization of Black and brown people. And when you look at what is taking place, the culture, the police culture, we need reform. We need to dismantle these systems and these policies that allow police officers to get away, literally, in many respects, murder. And this is just another example. And This is, and I think President Biden in his statement talked about the trauma and the burden of Black and brown people that we carry all of the time. Yeah. And this is gut-wrenching. And so we have to come together and just say no more, dismantle these systems because they're based on implicit bias. They're developed to dehumanize people so that police officers can get away with murder.
Coming together and dismantling sounds nice, Congresswoman.
Yes.
This special election for Oakland mayor saw a dramatic shift with Barbara Lee overtaking Lauren Taylor. KTVU's Betty Yu brings us voter reaction from across the city.
78-year-old former Congresswoman Barbara Lee, a progressive leader with nearly 3 decades of experience representing Oakland and the surrounding areas, said she entered the race to help heal a deeply divided city.
I'm so glad to be here.
Saturday, Lee said Taylor had called her to concede the race. She thanked Oakland voters for her win and said she plans to, quote, do the hard work and make the tough decisions.
I think she's amazing. She's a social worker. First of all, I'm a social worker as well. She's done a lot for Oakland as the representative, and I think she'll bring a lot of influence and investment into Oakland.
47-year-old former city council member Lauren Taylor, who narrowly lost to Sheng Tao by just 677 votes in 2022, said Oakland needs a pragmatic leader focused on tangible solutions. His campaign centered on what he called a broken Oakland, with a call for results-driven leadership.
I was hoping for Lauren Taylor. I think he would offer a bit more stability and consistency. His familiarity with Oakland and how he focused on what he was trying to do, setting up a plan first and detailing out what he wanted to do as far as action steps.
Only about 38% of registered voters cast ballots in the special election.
It's very, very disappointing, especially given how much action is happening at the national level. We need to be engaged in the local politics and the national politics, and there are no easy ways out. You have to be engaged.
Voters said public safety and Oakland's growing budget crisis were top priorities at the ballot box. Some also expressed frustration with the city's ranked choice voting system.
I think in a democracy you should vote who you want to vote for, and the vote should be counted, and that's it.
Lee will serve the remainder of former Mayor Sheng Tao's term until another election in November 2026. In Oakland,
I know. At this point, it's not that I believe. I know that she will have the same impact on Oakland that Brandon Johnson had on Chicago when they voted Brandon Johnson in as mayor after Lori Lightfoot helped to drive Chicago into the ground. Lori Lightfoot was super woke. The people of Chicago were complaining about the crime. But when they had an opportunity to do something about the crime, instead of voting for a tough on crime candidate, they chose to go even more woke, even more anti-cop, even more anti-business. They chose to go down the liberal path even harder. This is the same thing that's happening in Oakland. Businesses are leaving. The police they don't have money to operate a real police force. So say you get robbed or someone breaks in your business and robs you, they have an 8-hour wait, sometimes longer, before they can even send a unit out to respond to you getting robbed. So do you think that that's telling criminals, hey, don't do this because you might get caught by the cops? No, it's incentivizing criminals. It's telling criminals, go rob, go steal. They won't catch you in the act, and they might never catch you as long as you make sure you do your robbery efficiently. They're not even coming through until 8 to 10 hours after you commit your crime, your robbery. Okay, so on top of that, this woman wants to further defund the police. And this is what happens when you elect people who only see governance through the lens of criminals. I am a person who has had run-ins with the police, but I am also a person who will tell you primarily the only people who have to worry about the police in a negative way are criminals. So when you base your entire political identity on defunding the police and changing the way in which these systems are structured and stuff, what you're telling me is you are trying to appeal to criminals and criminal sympathizers who sympathize with criminals until what? they become a victim. And even if they become a victim, they'll continue to sympathize with criminals because, let's be realistic, people who raise criminals, they sympathize with criminals. When the woman goes into the ballot box to vote for Barbara Lee, she's thinking about her pookie son who's been in jail in and out for his whole life. Oh man, I don't want the cops rolling around getting little Ray Ray, so we got to defund the police so he's less likely to have an interaction with them so he won't get busted for his crimes. This is the way California cities are going. Oakland is a shining example. These people don't care about hard workers. These people don't care about business owners. These people don't care about homeowners. And this is the saddest part. Those are the people who pay taxes that pay these people. So the crazy thing about it is, as they continue to defund the police, make Oakland more unsafe, and people continue to leave, who's gonna pay their overinflated salaries? It's like shooting yourself in the foot. And I always say this, whenever someone does something that makes absolutely no sense for them financially, like operating against the best interest of your taxpayers, that means someone else is giving them incentive to operate in that way. We know it's special interest groups. Maybe it's real estate developers coming in, hey, let it turn to a total cesspool to drive down the prices so we can come in and buy everything for pennies on the dollars. There's something shady that's going on in the city of Oakland. Something stinks to high heaven in that city. I hope it's revealed sooner than later. This was a special election, so Barbara Lee will only be in office until next year in November 2026. I hope the people of Oakland do the right thing when they have their real mayoral election and get that bitch out of here. Get somebody who's tough on crime in that position. Thank you for watching us. Till the next time, peace.